Hello and welcome to People Reunited. My name is Rudolph Stone. As you all know, this is the programme where people talk about the past and where we bring together people in the present. Today on the programme, our first guest is Amanda Peters. Hello, Amanda.
Hello, Rudolph. I'm so happy to be on the programme because I've only been on TV once before. It's really exciting.
Well, who is it that you'd like to meet on the programme? Who is your special person? I know Amanda, but the listeners at home don't.
My special person is Mr. K. I'm now 23 and I haven't seen Mr. K for a long time. I'd really like to see him again.
First of all, Amanda, you're going to have to tell all the people at home who Mr. K is.
Yes, well, when I was a child, my mother and I lived in a beautiful old house. It was a wonderful house, but far too big for us. My mother decided to rent out rooms on the top floor, and that is when Mr. K moved in. I came home from school one day, and he'd already moved in. Later on, my mother and he became good friends.
Did you like Mr. K?
Oh yes, it was great having Mr. K around. He was so happy all the time. You could always hear him singing, particularly when he was in the bath. My mother and I were happy before Mr. K, but with Mr. K around, we were even happier.
What did Mr. K do to make you and your mother so happy?
Well, Rudolph, he was always laughing and cheerful. In the evening, we used to play cards with Mr. K. If I won, he'd give me sweets. Before bed, Mr. K would always make cocoa for the three of us.
What did Mr. K do?
Well, he used to work in the tax office, but he was already a pensioner when he lived with us, so we could have a lot of time together. He was like a grandfather to me.
So, when did you last see Mr. K?
When I was 18, I went off to university. Mr. K suddenly moved out while I was away. He didn't say goodbye or why he was going. Mother and I are great friends. We are so happy when we are together, but we never talk about Mr. K. I don't know why.
Well, Amanda, what would you like to ask Mr. K?
Well, I have two questions. As my mother and I never talk about Mr. K anymore, I would like to know why he left so suddenly. What happened?
How about your second question, Amanda?
The second question, which I would like to ask Mr. K, is what he has done in all those years. You see, he left so suddenly, and we haven't heard anything from him since then.
Well, thank you, Amanda. Now I'd like to welcome onto the programme Mr. K himself. Good evening, Mr. K.
Good evening, Rudolph. Hello again, Amanda. How you've grown, my dear. I'm very happy to be on the programme this evening.
Well, Mr. K, let me put Amanda's second question to you first. What have you been doing since you left the friendly home of Amanda and her mother? Has life been good to you?
Oh, yes. I've had a wonderful life. I travelled a lot and have been to countries not many people have a chance to see. I know it was not very nice of me to leave without saying goodbye, but I just had to.
That's exactly what Amanda's first question is about. Why did you leave so suddenly? Can you tell us that, Mr. K?
Oh dear. Well, first of all, I am sorry for the sadness I caused in your family. Now I can talk about it, but I couldn't for years, until I had the money. Well, soon after you left for the university, I won the lottery. It was a lot of money, you know. I was getting funny phone calls and I got scared and worried for you and your mum. What happens if they find out it was me? So I thought the best solution was to simply disappear. I am so sorry.
Oh no, Mr. K, don't worry. I'm really very happy for you.